guys, Tristan here from RC Bros 2000, obviously. And we are here with Drogan's level 8 upgrade. Now, if you guys saw the title down below, you guys will know we're finally putting in a brushless system into Drogan. And this exactly is the Velineon VXL 3S 4-pole system. You can tell by the 4 capacitors in the back. The lighting is getting pretty poor in this room, so I need to upgrade that. But yes, this is the 4-pole system. Now I do have to give a thanks to Genesis RC. He's a very good friend of mine, and he had donated this a while back. But before, he did say that there was an issue with the ESC, but I finally got the system put together and was able to test it, and it seemed to run fine. So I'm going to throw it into Drogan anyways, and if I start noticing the issues that he was talking about, I'll look into replacing it or sending it to Traxxas to power it up. But yes, still, thanks a lot, Genesis RC, for this. And of course, to install this, we needed one extra part, and that's the Traxxas part number 3725, the ESC plate for the VXL systems. And this will just go right where the old one is. So, with that all said, let's move on into the upgrade. Alright guys, first things first, as always, is to start removing the old parts. I'm going to start by removing the 4 screws that hold a waterproof receiver box in place, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the wire tie, as well as 2 screws that hold the ESC in place, and they're on either side. With those screws removed, the ESC is free from the plate, and we can get to the plug that goes into the receiver. All we have to do is just pull the plug, feed it out of the receiver box just like that, and then disconnect the motor from it just by pulling the plugs, and the ESC is free. Now we can go ahead and remove the 4 screws that hold the old plate in place, and then slide the new one right where it used to be, screwing down the same 4 screws. With the VXL plate installed, we can go ahead and drop the ESC into place, screwing down the 2 screws that hold it on. There's going to be 1 on either side. Once you have that in place, we can go ahead and take the wire, feed it into the receiver box, just like so, and plugging it in to channel 2. Once you have that in, you can go ahead, close up the receiver box. You can screw down the 2 screws that hold it into place. Then we're going to take all the slack in the wires, feed it into the box, then taking the wire tie and screwing it down with, again, another 2 screws. Now that we have the ESC all set to go, we're going to move to the back and start working on the motor. Now to do that, I'm going to first need to remove the rear tire. And that's easily done by removing the 7mm nut that holds it on. Now that we have the wheel removed, we can easily get to the 2 screws that hold the gear cover in place. With the gear cover out of the way, we can now remove both the pinion gear and the 2 screws that hold the motor to the transmission. Alright, with that all removed, the motor comes right on out. Now unfortunately, this Titan 12T is a dud. This thing is dead, so it's going to go straight into the trash. Just like that. And now we can take the new VXL motor, slide it into place, and we're going to screw down the 2 screws that held it in place. I'm not going to screw them all the way, because we're going to still need to put the pinion on, as well as set the gear mesh. For the pinion gear, we're going to slide this 31-tooth high-speed gear right onto the shaft of the motor. Going to make sure the grub is facing the side of the flat end of the rotor, and just line it up with the spur gear so that's in the middle of it. With that done, we're just going to screw down this grub screw, then move to meshing the gears together. Now, with having the gear ratio that we currently have in Drogan, having the motor set to as far back as it can go actually is the perfect mesh for these two gears. They're not too close, they're not too far, and if you hold the pinion gear in place and just barely move the spur, you can't hear it, but you can feel it just have a very, very slight amount of play, and that's what you want. So, with those in place, you're going to want to screw down the two screws that hold your motor into place, securing it. And then you're going to want to take your gear cover, sliding it on over, and screwing in the two screws that hold that on. And with that out of the way, we're going to move the RC on back and put the wheel on, which also is held on with a 7mm nut. Now that's all left to do is to connect the motor to the ESC. I've already gone ahead and routed the wires through the shock tower, and we just need to connect the wires to the plugs. Now you guys notice two of them you have black shrink tube when normally they would be white and blue. This is because the connectors that came with them weren't actually there with this motor. They got cut off. I had to replace them, and then the soldering job I did wasn't that great, so it failed, and I don't have any other colored shrink tube. So it's going to be a guessing game for this. Luckily, if I plug them in wrong, we will know immediately because the motor will be running backwards. So this is just kind of a 50-50 chance here. So I'm going to plug yellow to yellow, blue to blue, hopefully, and then white to white, hopefully. And we will not know if this worked until we turned on the RC. So, alright, well, this was interesting. So this just happened off camera. I'm going to include this into the video. So I have the motor all plugged in, and I turned it on, and I went to test it. Obviously I had the two connectors backwards. And what was interesting, for a minute I was running fine. Then all of a sudden, the ESC started to flow. Obviously, it's still running, but that made no sense. Something burned on it, but I don't know what. I am completely confused. But, I mean, the ESC worked still. It didn't die. Just something blew, and it's still operational. I mean, reverse, forward, everything works. I mean, this connector's not plugged in all the way, but that's... I don't know. That's just weird. Because, yeah, I mean, when I tested it, originally, you know, I just kind of put the wires in there, you know, just to see if it ran, and it ran. I even put this into another RC, and it ran, just to test it. But that was weird. That was really weird. I mean, alright, I really don't know where to go with this video from here on out, because that literally blew up off camera. So, I'm gonna say this was Drogan's level 8 upgrade-ish. I'm probably gonna end up having to pull that ESC apart to see what just fried, but yeah, guys, this is gonna be an interesting one. Alright guys, gonna have to bear with me because this is quite hard to see. But I just pulled the cover off of this ESC, and let's see if I can't get in there. Yeah, look at that. What looks like a resistor just blew. Now what's funny was, as you guys saw, it was still running. So, obviously I'm not going to risk it. And I was only running off of 7.42 cell LiPo. So whatever it was something triggered that. and I'm not sure what exactly. This is weird. So, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to send this into what's it called, Traxxas. Maybe I can get a new one, but yeah, this is weird, and there's no way that those two wires have done that. I've done that with my castle so many times where I had the plugs reversed, so there's no way it was that. Maybe it was too much power draw for it. I really don't know. So, yeah, I'm just probably gonna have to end up sending this in to Traxxas, because I kind of need a Velineon ESC now for this RC, because it's on Velineon, and his old ESCs are being put into another RC. So, yeah. Gotta love it. Alright, well, guys, I guess that was Drogan's kind of level 8 upgrade. I'm not gonna plug this thing back in case it kind of, well, gold catches on fire again. I don't want to do that. But yeah, guys, that is just that's gone. This thing is gone. This is actually, no, this is my second time blowing up an ESC. The first time it was a dead XL5 that I tried to bring back to life, and it kind of exploded. So, I'm just gonna leave that with that. So, guys, I hope you kind of enjoyed this little endeavor with me, because I really don't know what to call this video anymore. Because it was Drogan's level 8 upgrade, now it's Drogan's level 8 upgrade Catastrophe. That's what I'm going to go with this, alright? Level 8 upgrade Catastrophe. That's going to be the title of this video. So, yeah, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I will keep you up to date on this ESC, but as far as I'm concerned, it's going back to Traxxas.